Welcome back to the podcast.
Hi.
I am Mr. Made Over.
I am Mrs. Made Over.
I told you, like, we are here now. Like, we are going to be dishing out content after content, podcast after podcast. I'm telling you. It's my. Now we trying to talk country, you know.
And it does not work.
Since I've been here, I tried to, try to fit in,
Epic fail.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just old city boy.
That's it. So stop trying to be country.
You feel me?
Oh my gosh.
But today we got something to drink on today.
Do we really?
I know y'all seen the title. Hold up. I mean, everybody drink. Every now and then.
Every now and then.
That's pretty good.
I'm jealous. Yours look better than mine.
But y'all seen the title. We're going to get right into it. We're going to dive straight into it.
What you drinking?
That is lemonade and
what
ginger
you put
ale.
in your body?
That is lemonade and ginger ale.
It is legit lemonade and ginger ale.
I've been sober for about a good 7, 8 years now.
Oh
Wow.
Going on 8. Yeah, going on 8.
That's what's up, man.
7.5 years.
Can I get a hand clap for that? Sober? Like, sober. Anybody who know me know I used to party.
Woo.
Hey, no, I used to, I was a drunk. I was a functional drunk. Thank God for
praise the Lord.
Change, man. 8 years.
It has been.
No weed, no nothing.
No nothing. 4 years.
God is good.
He is.
God is good. But today we're going to deal with a different type of topic. I know when you seen the topic, you thought about we going to discuss cognac. We're going to discuss Ciroc.
No.
We're going to discuss, all the drinks.
We could talk about ginger ale.
That we've drunk.
And lemonade.
We could do that. But at the end of the day, that's corny.
Hey, get a little lemonade and some ginger ale. And that's all you need.
The thing we're going to talk about today is pouring up. Basically, what are you taking in your body? I say taking to your body, I mean spiritually. When I say pour up, it's basically like, what are you pouring into your life?
Yeah.
Not only what are you pouring into your life, what are you pouring into your children's life? Because your children will watch you.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times my wife is gone, I always look at my daughters and see her.
Like I never left, huh?
Like her, like from the moment like they wake up is her. Like, so
is that good or bad? Because the way you,
I mean, it depends on how you, but you gotta also understand too. Like whatever you do, like from your good to your bad, you're pouring into.
Yeah, that's true.
And I try to. I know. For me, coming from where I came from, I've literally seen the difference from what I was taking in when I first came. When I first came in,
right,
to now. Like now, I'm like, okay, I want to do something or listen to something or take in something that's going to be beneficial.
Right.
Like I'm sitting down with a lot of podcast type stuff. I'm reading books. Like I used to hate reading, but now I'm reading books, and I believe what you read and what you take in. Most wealthy people, they always talk about I read. Right. I read. That's all they do. That's when I talk to them. Yeah, I got a few millionaire friends now, but they say they read, they study, like
Right.
whatever they want to do, they study, they take it in, and I think that's why we lack in the ability to change.
Right. Because we don't seek out the things that are beneficial to us in the first place.
Yeah.
We seek out the things that are that feel good temporarily,
I call it entertainment.
Yeah. So that's for the most part, that's what we are doing a lot of the times, because I can recall the things that you and I were doing in the beginning where it has completely changed.
Yeah.
And I mean, that change, I know you were kind of joking about, it's been, pouring it up and it's been 8 years, but that 8 years actually started with me because I was just like, okay, I'm done. Cold turkey.
You left me out there on the ledge.
And so from that point on, it was kind of like, it was a decision. And it was a decision for the good because we had already lived.
Speak to why you did that, because
man, I don't like.
Because it was like cold turkey.
It was like one day I woke up and was like, okay, I'm done.
And it was like,
but
we're a drinking partner.
If I can recall, in that moment, I was seeking for more. I had already partied and had been partying since high school. I had been drinking at least beer from a very young age, like 15, 16. And then that underage drinking in all of those years, I mean, it was kind of like, okay, now what? I mean, by the time you had come here, I had left all the hard stuff alone, and it was wine. So it's like, ooh, I need this wine, but then after that, it was kind of like, well, what is this doing? Because I would go to sleep, I wake up, still be feeling the same exact way, and it was kind of like something snapped. And it was
out the blue.
Yeah, it was just like something snapped, and I was just like, I'm done. And he was like, done what? I'm like, I'm done drinking. He's like, we got bottles downstairs. Yeah, I know, but I'm done. I'm done. And I actually started pouring stuff out.
I think when you did that, you also said, okay, and we going to church.
I'm done. We're going. And I think for me, when we first started, because I had already been to church a few times, and I had gone after the club, and I felt that like I had went out on Saturday night, smoked up in church, Sunday standing at the altar, been there, done that, but it just didn't feel right. And I had already gotten to a point where I said I needed a change. And that was like phase 2 for me. Like that was the second time in my life that I was like, okay, I got to stop this because it's foolish. It don't make sense. And so at that point in time, it was like, I have already done all of this. Mm-hmm. None of that had done anything for me. So now I'm being presented with this thing that can help me to kind of rid myself of all these things I have done. Mm-hmm. And it was starting to, I guess I was starting to feel that with, the conviction, or a lot of times I was feeling condemned and not knowing I was feeling condemned. But then I learned the difference between being condemned and then the conviction. And so once I started dealing with the feeling of the condemnation part of it, the conviction starts settling in. Like, why am I drinking? Why am I doing this? And why am I doing that? But the crazy part of that was I stopped drinking, but then I was okay with us shacking.
I know, right?
So that was the part, though. Then we had to work toward that. And so, and that was on your behalf. So it was like some things that I think for me, I was led to walk us down that path of trying to get it right, or working towards getting it right. Yeah. And then there were some things where you had to take the lead because my mental was, this is okay. Drinking wasn't okay no more, but that was,
like take the drinks away, but don't take the shack away.
Don't take the shack away.
So then it's crazy because I think that this is how I knew I was safe. Because I eventually stopped drinking. Mm-hmm. which is,
and it wasn't long after I did.
It was. I mean, after going to the church that I was going to, and this is that being poured into, and what I was being poured into, and how I was being poured into, and how I was being ministered to. I went from, I mean, like hard liquor, like.
Got straight. He was straight, no chase. Like the stuff that burn your inside.
Yeah, that's when I know it's good. But for me, it was like I didn't want to shack up no more.
Yeah,
it's like we either get married and do this thing the right way, because I didn't want to repeat the cycle.
Right.
I didn't want to repeat the cycle of being in a relationship for a long time,
right.
A very long time. And then all of a sudden, and all of a sudden, and I almost did start venting. But I wanted to do something that when my children looked at me and said, "Dad is married."
Right.
Even though I made mistakes in the past, I was able to jump back in my mind and say, so let's do this the right way. If we're gonna be in a relationship and you say you love me and I love you, and we're trying to do this thing, forever. Let's do this thing the right way.
Right.
So I ended up cutting off the shacking.
You did.
I cut off like
everything.
Yeah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I even left.
He did.
And I think we was close to getting married, right?
Mm-hmm.
Close to being about to be married, but I was just like, man, something like
with child already.
With child already. Now I could have just did like most of y'all do. Yeah, that's right.
She pregnant anyway.
Might as well go ahead. Get it while the getting is good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, I was just like, I got to a point where I was sick and tired of just doing things.
Right.
I think it kind of goes back to when you said you just stopped drinking. But like for me, like when I truly found God, like when I'm talking like really saved.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about I think I'm saved, but like I know I'm saved. And I didn't want to live with the disappointment of disappointing him.
Yeah.
So in that instant, it showed me that what you take in, you become. Like you form into that thing.
Right.
And a lot of times we as people think, it's just a little bit, a little drinking here. Like I don't drink at all. Like like everything is non-alcoholic around here because I know the danger of what could happen.
Yeah.
Like I know myself. If I get one shot, I know it's over. Like I know I'm going back. But the thing is, my thing and my fear is that I don't know if I will return.
Yeah. And I think I'm that same way, is because I remember the foolishness that I did in the middle of being inebriated, drunk for, other people. But I remember the foolishness that I did. And I look back at my foolishness and then the other people that I brought into my foolishness.
Right.
Like I look at that, and I think to see not only the change in me, but to look back on it like, man, I was crazy. Like, why I do that, But also to see that those people, even in the midst of all of our foolishness, we are still successful. Yeah. Some of us, that I was really close with. And that is, like you said, when I truly was ready to make that change, because that's what it came to. When I truly was ready to make that change, now I can reflect and I can say, "Ooh, that was crazy. Why I do that?" But I don't live in that moment. I'm just grateful that I learned the difference between pouring the negative stuff and then putting out that same negative stuff. Yeah. And now I'm getting the good things. And to those people that I used to pour out the negative stuff to, I can now pour out the good, because that's what I'm flowing with is the good. So it's not like you take the bad stuff and that comes out and then that's all you get. No, you can choose to right? So I had greasy food, right? Stomach said, So I got to figure out how to make that settle. ginger ale, settle. So this is the good stuff, but it got to wash out. Oh, that's good. It got to wash out all of the stuff that was bad in me. And it's kind of like, I mean, this is kind of explicit, but just like you're doing a cleanse, any type of, like a detox. I ate that stuff that I have not had, and now I'm having to drink this to settle the mess that I had, so that mess can kind of calm down itself.
Pretty good.
But that's kind of how life has been for us, because it's two different walks. But for the last, you might as well say, 14, 15 something years, we've been kind of walking it together because we have been friends that long.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to tell him not to do the foolish stuff, but he still did the foolish stuff. But
you can't, listen, people, you can't tell somebody not to do something, you doing something.
You did it to me.
That just don't go together.
But no. Now be real. Did you not try to tell me to do good when you was really legit doing bad?
Because it sound good at the time.
See, that's what I'm trying to say right there. But anyway, no, you can't. You just said I can't, but you did it.
Well, man, Gina.
Whatever, man.
It's a man thing, Gina.
Whatever. See, but this is what I'm talking about right here. But we did. We just learned. I'm glad. I can say this. I am glad that we got the good. Well, you got most of it before I did, because I was just stubborn. But I'm glad
that's funny though.
Shush.
I'm gonna tell you why it's funny, because you struck out on this thing first. Like, you started off strong. Bam, I'm done.
What's going on?
This is it. I'm done.
And I was like, whoa.
And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I still got 3 more blunts to smoke. And I got a full bottle,
brand new bottle
of vodka in there, man, that I'm going to polish off. But when I got it, though.
Yeah.
I tell you this, when I actually got it and picked it up, I said, you know something? Yeah. And that like, and she would always say, like, she would get to the point like you're more spiritual than me. And
I was like, stop, this is too much.
I'm like, I didn't know it was a competition.
No, I wasn't ready.
I dove into it because I feel like, as head of the household, like, you have to dive into it more, because number one, you have to lead a family.
Right.
You have to lead your family with the knowledge that God downloads in you.
And because we already had, we had a growing family, and then we already had, established.
Yeah.
It was more so where we had to make it work when we knew we were supposed to be together. I think that was a difference too, where even though on the back end I was being stubborn, you were still trying to take charge. I'll be honest, but me trying to still step in with the independent part, I had to still learn, like, in hindsight, that no, this isn't how it worked.
Yeah.
And that was because the pouring that I was getting in reference to how the woman should be the head of the house, because she's winning the bread, making the bread, because that's what I was used to seeing. I was used to seeing hardworking women and men that were doing, whatever they could at the time.
And I think the funny thing for me is that I've always been a stay-at-home parent.
Yeah.
I've always talented,
right,
out the world. But when it came to my kids, I just believe in sacrifice. I would always say, no, you go ahead. I'll take care. I watch them, and do what I need to do, what was necessary. Because I always felt like that no matter, after everybody gets theirs and know what they need to get done, like, I guarantee you, I will be wealthy.
Right.
Like, I've always felt that. I've always felt like if you put your kids first, God will reward you for that.
Right.
And for me, that's basically what it is. Like, I don't mind staying at home, for me, I find ways to bring money to me.
He does. Like, and over the years, you've just gotten better. You've just gotten way better at being able to do that. And that's definitely one thing I can attest to, that no matter what negative things you were having poured into you, you were still always doing something productive that had, I mean, it was not good in the sense of how it was being done, but it was still good in the sense of you always have thought about family first or my children first. And that has always been one thing that you've done. And so I think once we were like saved for real and walking the true righteous walk, it made it just that more impactful, I think, for us together. Because once we realized that, hey, the pouring now is positive, but it has to be reciprocated here, then it made more sense. Because in the beginning, it did not make sense that here we are, I'm already with child, and now you saying you not staying with me, whatever. That didn't make sense. But in hindsight, now it makes more sense. And it made me gain more respect for you because you took a stand. You took a stand to say, yeah, Tiff, you're used to this, but I'm used to this, but this is how we're going to do it. We both did it this way. It didn't work. Now let's do it the right way and let's see what we benefit from it. So it was like taking the good that we were learning from, or learning at the church, because we're still currently there, but it was taking the good that we were learning and then applying it. Because that's what some people don't do. They get the good poured in, but they don't know what to do with it. So they regurgitate it.
And I think a lot of times, Chris, I was just thinking this today, why a lot of people are unsuccessful in everything that they do. The stuff that they do get that's poured into them that's good for them, they don't apply it.
That's what I'm saying. You regurgitate it.
The stuff that I've come across, not even just from a spiritual standpoint, but just in general life. Like, it's a lot of stuff in life that we don't know about.
Right.
Like, I mean, when I tell you, I've been in this world of doing this legacy and building a legacy. And when I tell you, my people, my family, we do suffer for a lack of knowledge. We like the things that are out there that you're supposed to be doing for your family. But at the end of the day, we'll sit there and let somebody pour negativity into us all the time without rejecting it.
Yeah.
Like me, I just like, you can say anything about me, but at the end of the day, it's for me to receive it.
I think it's like,
you stupid. Bang, get that junk out of here. What you talking
it's kind of like, I'll use this, and this is what kind of was playing in my head. Like bananas full of potassium, right? They're one of the, like, if you need potassium, that's supposed to be your go-to, right? Okay. I despise bananas, anything banana flavor, anything, whatever. Candy, the real thing, banana pudding, all of that. Don't like it. But it's beneficial for me. So that kind of took me to, like what you're saying, it's good for me, but I don't want to take it because I don't like how it tastes. So is it possible to say, or safe to say, that we know that it's good for us and that's why we don't want to take it? Because we think that it just might not be what we really expect it to be.
I think a lot of times we don't like a challenge.
We talked about that too.
A lot of people don't want to meet the challenge head on.
Yeah.
Like me, I meet the challenge head on because I know I got young kings watching me.
Yeah.
And plus I'm competitive anyway.
You are.
But
I ain't eat no banana, so don't even.
But I believe that anything that I'm faced with, I did not believe this, but now I'm to the point I'm so bold in it, and this is what I've been taking in, and this is what has been downloaded and what has been poured into me makes me equipped.
Yeah.
I got tools now to say, it doesn't matter what you say, just watch me work.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, what is poured into you, you become. That's who you are. Like from the music to the movies to whatever your daily life, your daily multivitamin. When I say multivitamin, I'm talking about your daily pill, your daily entertainment, your daily social media type of stuff. You become that.
Yeah.
A lot of us spend more time in our phone on things that doesn't benefit us.
That's not beneficial. And I agree with that and can definitely attest, because I remember a year ago in our marriage where you told me, slap up, hey, you spend too much time on your phone. And it was about 2 years, because that's when I got rid of Facebook. I got rid of Facebook because it was doing nothing. It was just nothing. Nothingness. And then I think I even cleaned up my Instagram page. And so I'm on it now, or back on Facebook now, and the way I have a different insight on how to use social media. But I had to kind of like take it, because that was from you telling me like, hey, look, you can use it this way, It's so many other ways. So I completely cut any news outlets, any foolishness, and then I basically reframed the algorithm, right? The algorithm on my personal Instagram page to where it's just education stuff, it's teacher stuff, it's people who are in, God-fearing, family-oriented people, Christ followers that are trying to do the right thing, not portraying that they're doing the right thing and putting on this mask, but saying, hey, you know what, this is the family picture right here that we expect to have, but let me show you what we really have. Like really speaking, the truth. And that is, it's not all about the glitz and the glam. And I think that's where we get caught up. We drink so much of the glitz and the glam because society said we got to do this, and society said we got to do that, and we got to be this way. Whatever. Society can kick rocks. Because at the end of the...
just got upset.
Sorry, not sorry. But that's what I've learned. Like, society put all of these standards, and we feel like we got to follow each one and check each one off. But we don't. Like, we don't have to do that, because at the end of the day, like, if it's negative, then it's like negative begets negative. So at what point do you get tired of the junk food? I like junk food, but since I've been working out, it's like I got to pick and choose. Do I want the gummy bears today? And I can't sit and eat the whole bag of gummy bears. I got to split them up through the weekend. Like, I'm not going to sit here and binge eat, because then I'm going to be sick. So if the negative stuff is making me sick, then why am I still eating it? Because it's insanity. I'm still going to be sick every time I indulge in this negative stuff.
Well, I believe people always say, I say lip service. Like, it sounds good to say, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be wealthy, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to tackle the world, but when it comes to that action,
you don't do it.
When it comes to that action, that's where we miss. And we say we want this business, that business. Are you studying what it takes to run this business?
What's that?
Like, do you understand? Like, even with this, with everything, the new equipment and all this different stuff. Wife would tell you, I was in here slaving.
He was. I was
learning the equipment. Back and forth from YouTube to this to that to this to that. When I tell you, mastering this thing.
It was talk, but then there was the actions, because I knew he was real, because he started studying and he started looking for the classes and saying, I want to invest in this class and I want to do this with this class. That's when I realized, like, okay, this is not just this is not a thing. Okay, I put like that. I can say another thing, because everything he does, he gives 100%, especially when he's devoted to it and it's something he believes in. But I knew that this venture here was real, because it's been consistent. When the algorithm on his YouTube channel is nothing but video editing, production, building, podcasting,
equipment, like moving money around to get this, moving money around to get that.
Like, what is this, and what does that mean? Videos being sent to me having to say, you know what? I don't understand all of this world, but let me watch this video because clearly I need to read up on it, and I clearly need to do it. And I just kind of got thrown on the bus with logos and like things that I wouldn't even do.
And she fire at it.
Thank you, honey.
And a lot of times, I think we get so complacent.
Oh yeah.
Like we get used to, you know, like when I tell her, "Hey, babe, go ahead and build a logo for this." Dude, what? But when she actually did it, she realized, "Oh, I can do this."
Yeah.
Like if you don't have nobody in your life pushing you, to do things that, I'm not gonna say that's beyond you, but it's in you. A lot of times, like we get so tied to making other people rich, because that's what we do. In these 9 to 5s, we. I'm trying to tell you, we sending people on vacations. We are funding a lot. When you gonna start funding your stuff? When you gonna start planning for your vacations? Like at the end of the day, like things have to shift.
Yeah.
Like I found myself at like when you said being in class, like I was actually in class, online class.
He was in class.
I tell you,
late at night.
People be like, "Hey, you want to do this today?" Nah, I can't.
Yeah.
First of all, it's Corona out there.
Yeah.
And second,
I'm in class.
I have to finish this course.
Yeah.
I have to and I finished the course and when I tell you, I mean, the tools that I have been given, man, I'm trying to tell you, it's a lot of stuff out there
but we don't. I think a lot of times we don't have the right people in our corners either, because without you, it wouldn't have been one of those things. I wouldn't have made a logo. I mean, I know how to make stuff, but I wouldn't have made a logo to where you could say, "Ooh, this looks good," and not that it took a long time either. It was just kind of like second nature. Oh, you need a logo? Okay, cool, I got you. But it was because everything you had in you about this venture and about what your vision was nothing but positive energy. Now, if you go, man, I don't know if this is gonna work out, because then I might have been a little hesitant. But everything you had and everything that was coming out or oozing out has been positivity. No matter what the account looked like, no matter how much time and effort it took, you put in the work. Because the funny thing about, this system is you didn't wake up early in the morning. Like, that was after church. Jeez. You was gone. I don't even know how long. But you came back with a fully functional system where you can say you built and you had the pride behind it. So that's because everything that we are getting from the people that we're under is positivity being flowed.
But here's the funny thing, and I don't want y'all to miss this. This is the part when she said, I went to go build this PC, but I went to talk to somebody that I could have did it on my own, but I probably would have jacked something up. Mm-hmm. All the YouTube videos that I've watched on putting the PCs together, I still had enough sense to say, I need help.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I went and got help. And when I tell you, the help was just this. Okay, do this. Okay, do this. Now put this in. But I enjoyed it because that I'm being poured into.
Yeah.
Another way of being poured into. Yeah. So now when it comes to I'm already looking into building my next PC already.
He excited.
So it's watch what you take in.
Yeah. Don't just watch. The movies, because you talked about this earlier. So there was a movie I used to watch when I was younger. That I watched, no problem. But then a lot of the childhood shows that I used to watch are now coming on Netflix. And so, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to watch that. And then Araya, our oldest, would see it, and she was like, "Oh, mommy, I want to see it." Well, the adverse effect is it didn't have an effect on me, or I thought back then it was just a little innocent movie, whatever. Well, for her, it was totally opposite, where she now was not, she didn't want to sleep by herself, and she didn't want to sleep in the room. Yeah. And then it led her to then eventually start watching some other little, I would say, scary type things that aren't geared for a 6-year-old. I'll put it that way.
And I think it's things that if not monitored,
right,
it may start small, but it will form.
And so, and like I said, it's an innocent little, it was to me, it was an innocent movie, and I watched it over and over and over and over and over. But for her, it was a little bit more than that. And I mean, she had watched it. I fell asleep on it, and that's how she ended up watching it. And she was like, "Well, mommy, it's just this." But the more and more she watched it, the more it stopped bothering her. So, like, as the head of the house, he said, "Okay, no, you can't watch it," which was me, and she can't watch it. So, okay. And I was just like, well, why? In my mind, I'm like, well, why? But then when I started realizing and I started connecting dots, it was like, it was okay for me to watch it because now I'm an adult and I can handle that. But for my 6-year-old, not so much. So then I had to then talk to her and explain to her why. And I mean, at first she was sad because she always thinks that she's doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. But even at their age, we're having to cut that out. So, like, I know a lot of kids say, well, I watched this when I was young. I watched this scary movie. We say that anything with profanity, the youngest of ours will ask you, because I tell them, I said it's a not for kids movie, and a not for kids movie may just be that it just may be action and there may be a lot of violence.
Definitely a lot of violence.
Yeah, definitely a lot of violence. Definitely guns. Definitely some type of action and loud booming and blowing stuff up. I'm about,
hey, let's watch a love. People
you watch some of this. Whatever, man. Stop. Would you stop putting?
Let's watch a love movie.
Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Whatever. Anyway, but even our 4-year-old will say, "Mommy, does it have guns in it?" Yes, it does. Okay, can you pause it, please? And they are so even with that, a movie for me that is just fully action, I tell them it's a not for kids movie because it's going to have guns and violence. They may not always say a bad word, but it may be a bad word. It may be some kissing or whatever. But either way, it's showing them now that, hey, there are some things at the age that you're at that mommy and daddy don't want you watching.
Your mind.
Because it plays in your it plays in your mind. So we just are very careful. Yeah.
Very protective.
Very, very protective. He will tell me quickly, no, don't watch that. Or I will be watching a trailer of something and I'm like, nope, can't watch that. Turn it off. So we are learning how to nurture the good stuff within us, and also be able to pour that back into our children. So eventually they'll be able to pour it into people that come in contact with, or, their children later on down the line. Mm-hmm. But that's because we got good pouring. And now we're able to pour good, and then they should be. So it's kind of like good begets good. But if all we had was that still the drinking and he was smoking, I didn't smoke.
God, could you imagine if I was still doing it?
Oh gosh. Oh no. I would have told you to go home.
That is crazy.
Yeah. It wouldn't be good. I mean, it would not be. It would not. It would be. It would be good. But it would be all bad. It would be, y'all would be so bad. He would be horrible. You'd be horrible. And you cute? Yeah, you'd be horrible. Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, thank God for change.
Thank God for change.
And
deliverance.
I always say to myself, like, how long can you, like, what? Like, it has to be a point where you say enough is enough.
Right.
Like,
you gotta get tired of. You gotta get tired of being tired.
Like, you can't keep going to the club when you 50 and 60, 40 and 30. Like you have to at some point wake up and look at your little children and say, I have to do something
different, right?
Like I have to do something. Like for me, I'm breaking the wheel. Like I'm not gonna repeat this generational thing of being a womanizer. I'm not gonna compete like and continue to do this, living below my means and not creating generational wealth.
Right.
My kids don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Like they deserve the best.
Yeah.
When I like I got some smart kids too. So like I always think about college. Like if I pass, then what am I passing on to them? Bills, struggles that I did.
Right.
So like I think once I got out of what I was in, I was able to see clear.
Mm-hmm.
I seen things in a different light. Yeah. I began to think about my future, my children's future.
Yeah.
Like I began to hone in, and now I'm more like I was focused, but now I'm even more focused now because I feel like I'm close to it. And it's only a matter of time for me.
And that's the thing too. You have to find you have to find that thing that drives. That is the purpose behind it. And I think for us, it really has just been the kids.
Yeah.
Outside of each other, it really has been the kids. What do we need to do to set them up to where they're already prepared? And then the other thing was just to not repeat the cycles that we have already been through. Man. Because we have been through every cycle you could probably think of. We've been through every family curse and bondage and all of that. Yeah. And so we finally made the decision to not repeat that. And so whatever it takes by any means necessary, that is our goal, to make sure that our children don't go through what we had to go through, don't experience what we had to experience. And trying to make their life, or striving to make our life that we're living right now alive with them better. And then once we are gone, they don't have to worry about anything. And that has been, that greatest push from him as far as an entrepreneur. From me dabbling in both now.
Trying to get out of that 9 to 5, y'all. Trying to get out of that 9 to 5.
9 to 5. Actually, 8 to 4:30.
Either way, trying to get out of there.
8 to 4:30. But
I'm not gonna be using my wife's time to go on vacation. I'm gonna use it.
But that has been our thing. We've been striving for. And so to you, we say that, remember, whatever you are pouring in, that's what you're going to get coming out.
Guarantee.
That's what's going to come out on you. That's what's going to come out on others. So whatever that vice is, whatever you're dealing with or trying to deal with, you have to remember that in order to pour positive, you must first receive the positive pouring from others so that you can then be able to be beneficial to others.
So be teachable, be coachable.
Oh, yeah. Be teachable. Definitely.
The most important thing in the world.
Yeah. Because without those two things, you perish with nothing. We are constantly, and I've said this before, we are constantly learning and growing, and you need the knowledge. Yeah. Like you have to have knowledge, period, in everything that deals with the ins and outs of life. You have to have the knowledge to be able to function. So if you're not teachable and you're not coachable, you're not going to gain that knowledge that you need to be successful.
I always tell myself, you don't know it all, Marie.
Yeah, you don't.
you don't know it all.
And I say, Tiffany, you can never stop learning. And I definitely learn from the smallest of people to the seasoned. And I think that's the thing that I enjoy, because I've learned that even the little ones can pour positive things into us as well.
Trust and believe.
So you can't limit who you're gonna get who you're gonna get the pouring from.
Sometimes I pour in the old geezers. No pop.
Silly. But that's what we have to do. That's what we have to focus on. And just remember, if you pour in things that are unhealthy, that is what is going to flow from every orifice.
It will continue.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I'm living proof that, number one, it can continue, and I'm living proof that, number one, you can stop.
Yep. Definitely a great example.
The thing is, you ain't saying nothing yet. I guarantee you that. But keep following us.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. I'm Mr. Madeover.
And I'm Mrs. Madeover.
Like we always say, keep God first.
And the rest will be added.
We out.